Hello, this is Sabrina live from the Clearsnap booth at the 2016 Craft and Hobby Show. And today's class is an embellished sneaker set. We're using the Crafters Ink Cat's Eyes and some of our brand new art screen designs. So let's get started. All right, ladies, my name is Sabrina, and today we are going to be embellishing some white canvas tennies using the ColorBox Crafters inks, and these are new in the mini cat's eye size. They're also available in full pads. So you have one shoe that's taped off, and the other shoe you can decorate at home. You'll be able to take everything that is on your plate. You can take those home, the minis, the mini crafters, the art daubers, and the stencils. We're going to begin with the yellow, the sunshine ink. And we're going to just to apply it to the front section of the shoe. You can just press it right on the shoe and just do a very gentle sort of a buffing motion. I'm doing right up along the stitching. Yeah. So just apply it with a gentle buffing motion. And as you can see, that if you press down, that'll give you an intense bit of color. So the Crafters ink is specially formulated to work on surfaces other than paper. So it's great on fabric, it's great on wood, and it's you can heat set it with an iron or another heat tool to make the color waterproof. And with these shoes, we're actually going to dry them with a heat tool. But someone else in another class had suggested you could put, when you finish your shoe at home, you could put it in a canvas bag and toss it in the dryer to heat set it. That might be a little bit easier. So when you're finished up with that front section, we're going to move on to the berry, unless you're doing your own thing and adding your own color scheme that you like. The pink berry ink. And again, we're just going to apply that in that same gentle buffing motion. Don't worry about getting any color on the eyelets. That'll wipe off really easily. And then right up here around this ridge, just be careful. You can sort of press it and rub it right around that small section. So right up here along this ridge, you're just going to want to gently press the pad up along there to keep the pink ink from bleeding onto the yellow. Okay. All right, and the ink should wipe right off the eyelets, so go ahead and just ink right over the top of those to get that small area in between. Yes, and if you get any on an area that you don't want, if it gets underneath the tape here, you can wipe it right off with a baby wipe. All right, looks like you guys are getting close. So on the front of the shoe, on each section, I have it divided off into 3 sections, and I'm using this Argyle stencil with 2 shades of ink. I use the Aquamarine and that's not the Limelight, the Tangelo. It's got the wrong lid on there. And you're gonna wanna hold onto the stencil, hold it in place, and then I actually use the art dauber tools to apply the ink through the stencil, just because you have a little bit more control, especially with this first stencil. The sections are very small and delicate, and they might bend or you might get underneath it. So I just dip that right in here. And the art daubers hold quite a bit of the pigment ink, the crafter's pigment, and so then I just tap it down. I don't do the gentle rotation, just tap the color in there. And if you want to add a few coats to make sure that the color is really intense, then go ahead. So you can really tap that art dauber into the crafter's ink pad to get a lot on there. And then I found it was easiest to just tap through the stencil. And you might have to rearrange your hands as you move around the shoe. to hold that stencil in place.
Any like best ways to get into that crease that's right next to the seam?
I think you might want to try an art dauber and really just rub it in there. Yeah, I think that would work well. So I added 2 colors to the front of the shoe, and I started with the darker color first, and then I'm going to blend this orange Tangelo color down into the teal. If you don't want to add 2 colors, you definitely don't need to.
I want to be creative.
But I started at the top and then worked it down the stencil, just stopping where the blue begins, so the colors blend together. I used this Cobblestone stencil, and I use that on the outer. You can use it on the inner, whichever you prefer. And it's a little bit awkward to hold the stencil in place, so I found it was helpful to stick your hand inside the shoe and put some pressure against where the section that you're working on. So I use the limestone, the green ink, and I use the outside of the shoe with the Cobblestone stencil. It kind of looks like a giraffe print almost. And then I use my hand inside the shoe to put pressure against where I'm inking. And the more firm you are with your pressing down, the darker the color will be. You can move on to the other side of the shoe. On the back, you can do your own thing, or I stopped the 2 designs and the center seam here. So I have the Cobblestone here, and then I'll add the Camo to the inside of the shoe. So when you're finished up stenciling the entire edge of the shoe, we can move on and add some color to the tongue. I use the Aquamarine. And then I'll grab you guys some napkins. There's some baby wipes if you've already got one, I think. But I just use this to wrap right around the inside of the shoe. And then again, just applying that directly. That's helpful.
Is that for, yeah.
We'll heat set it, so you want to take the tape off and take the paper outside just in case. So when you heat set it, it's going to smoke like crazy, so hold it away from you. And when it's finished smoking, that's how you know that it's done and it's set. If you were doing a flat surface, you would use an iron, and you can hold the iron. It takes about 30 seconds to heat set the crafter's ink, and you can kind of see the color set into the fabric. It changes color just a bit.